I was just a kid, maybe 10, when I first helped my dad drag an irrigation pipe across our dusty field in Tanner's Hollow, a little corner of nowhere in southern Indiana. The air was heavy with that sweet, loamy smell of spring dirt, and I can still hear the low hum of cicadas, the kind of sound that feels like it's stitched into the land itself. My dad, Tom Carver, wore this beat-up old fishing hat, the kind you'd swear he'd been born in, and he'd tell me, "Ben, water's got a memory, put the pipes down right, and the land'll never forget you." We weren't big shots. Not by a long shot, just a family with 15 acres that had been ours since my great-grandpa cashed in his GI Bill for a patch of earth after World War II. It wasn't much to look at, cracked and thirsty most of the year, but when the spring rains rolled down from the hills, those ditches we'd carved by hand turned into lifelines. They fed our corn, our soybeans, even the neighbor's alfalfa down the road. It wasn't fancy, wasn't some high-tech irrigation system. It was just us, the land, and the water doing what we'd always done. Fast forward, I'm 25, fresh out of Purdue with a civil engineering degree, working for the Army Corps of Engineers. I did a stint in Guatemala, mapping floodplains, and another in Iraq, patching up water systems in places where a single busted pipe could spark a riot. I learned quick how water's not just a resource, it's a promise. When you don't break unless you want trouble. When I came home, Dad was gone. Heart gave out during a harvest moon, right there in the barley field. So I took over, walked those same ditches, replaced rusted valves, got the whole setup certified with a municipal easement. Legal, stamped, airtight. Nobody cared much back then. It was just farmland, quiet as ever. Then the suits showed up. You know, the type city folks with glossy brochures and big plans, talking about progress like the gospel. Tanner's Hollow started sprouting subdivisions overnight, and with them came Willow Creek Estates, this gated community with fake stone pillars and street names like Aspen Lane. Never mind, we don't have Aspens for 100 miles. The HOA board was a pack of self-important types, retired realtors, a car dealership owner, and Patricia Hensley, their president, who had a smile sharp enough to cut glass. They didn't like the look of our old barn, our tractor, or the unsightly trench running along their precious new lots. I got dragged to one of their meetings early on, held in this shiny clubhouse that smelled like new carpet and ambition. Patricia leaned over her podium, glasses perched like she was judging a dog show, and said, "Mr. Carver, that open ditch of yours is a health hazard. Mosquitoes, mud, the works. Can't you pipe it underground? Or, better yet, just get rid of it? It's not exactly picturesque." Picturesque. I wanted to laugh, but I kept cool, spread out my engineering maps, showed them how that trench kept their fancy homes from turning into a swamp every spring. I even handed out copies. Patricia gave me this tight little nod, like she was humoring a kid, and I knew right then she wasn't listening. Things got quiet for a while, but I started finding their little notices taped to my gate. Non-compliant fencing. No farm equipment after 7 p.m. Visible water violates community standards. It was like they were poking me with a stick, seeing how long it'd take me to snap. I ignored it, leaned on my easement papers, kept the water flowing. Until one morning, I heard the growl of bulldozers. I ran out to the backfield, and there they were, 2 machines tearing into my trench, ripping up pipes older than me. Some kid in a hard hat shrugged when I yelled, "This is my land." Said he was just following orders from Willow Creek HOA. Orders to bury my family's lifeline. I took photos, called the sheriff, got told it was a civil matter. Called the city, found out the HOA had filed permits using a fake survey, one that erased my trench like it never existed. My stomach churned when I saw a map that turned 70 years of history into a blank green square. They poured concrete before I could even blink, thinking they'd won. But water doesn't forget, and neither do I. The first rain came a week later, a slow, heavy soak. By day 2, Their perfect little park was a mud pit. By day 3, their streets were rivers. I stood on my porch, watching water pool where my trench used to guide it away, and I didn't feel smug, just tired. Tired of being ignored, tired of watching the land choke. Their clubhouse sent out frantic emails. Do not flush. Sandbags at gate. Patricia herself sped by in her SUV, splashing mud, phone glued to her ear, looking like the world was ending. It kind of was for them. I wasn't alone anymore, though. Folks started talking, farmers whose fields were drying up, families in Willow Creek whose basements were growing mold. Jenny Larson, a schoolteacher who'd moved into the subdivision, showed up at my door with a jug of cloudy tap water and a notebook full of questions. This used to be drinkable, she said, eyes wide. I gave her the maps, the easement, the whole story. 3 days later, her blog post, What Willow Creek Buried, blew up online. Suddenly, I wasn't just the cranky farmer next door, I was the guy with answers. I teamed up with an old buddy, Sam Reed, a hydrologist who owed me one from way back. We spent days with drones, mapping flood patterns, proving the HOA's concrete had turned their lots into a dam. I sent cease and desist letters, filed motions with the county, even got the local paper to run a story. The HOA fought back. Dirty sent me a certified letter accusing me of defamation and obstructing progress. They ran a newsletter with a cartoon of me in a tinfoil hat, calling my trench carver's crazy canal. Online, trolls piled on, posting memes, calling me anti-progress. It stung, but I kept digging literally and figuratively. Then I found it buried in old county records, a 1996 FEMA grant that protected my trench as critical infrastructure. No one could touch it without state approval. That was my ace. I sent it to the state, the county, even a judge I'd worked with years ago. And when the next rain hit, it wasn't just a storm, it was a reckoning. Water tore through Willow Creek, flooding garages, ruining lawns. The news choppers circled, showing the world what happens when you bury a trench that's been breathing for decades. The courtroom was tense, like a storm about to break. Patricia sat there, cool as ever, but her hands kept fidgeting. My lawyer, Ellen Tate, laid it all out me: mineral rights, the FEMA clause, the fake maps. A whistleblower, Mike, their own maintenance guy, took the stand, voice shaking. They told me the trench was dead, he said, but I saw the work orders. They knew. When I spoke, I didn't yell, didn't plead, just told the story of my dad, the trench, the land. You can't pave over memory, I said. The water remembers, even if you don't. The jury took 3 hours. When they came back, the foreman's voice was steady. We fined for Mr. Carver on all counts. Injunction, fines, restoration to HOA was done. Patricia's face went white. Her lawyers scrambled. Outside, folks clapped me on the back, but I just wanted to go home. The restoration started. Slow County crews, me walking the lines, showing them where the old pipes ran. We found one valve, stamped with my dad's initials, still gleaming under the dirt. I hung it above my porch. The community came around. 2 Jenny students interviewed me for a class project. A guy named Tim, a new Willow Creek resident, wrote the first check to help flood victims. Even Patricia sent an apology, standing in front of her flooded clubhouse, voice breaking. We were wrong, she said. I was wrong. She left town soon after. By spring, the trench was flowing again. I opened the head gate at dawn, watched the water slip through like it was saying hello to an old friend. The barley came back, green and stubborn. George Ramsey, a rancher who'd lost half his herd, stopped by to shake my hand. You didn't just save your land, he said. You saved ours. I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded. Now, there's a little wooden bridge over the trench, nothing fancy, just enough to cross. I stand on it sometimes at dusk, listening to the water hum below. It's not about winning, it's about what lasts. The land, the water, the truth, they don't bend. Not really. They just wait for you to catch up. So what do you think? Was I right to fight? Or was I just a stubborn fool holding on to the past? Drop a comment. Tell me your take. Have you ever seen a community clash like this? Share your story. I'm listening.